It's me, Christina Alibato, back for another episode of Broadway Shutdown with Christina Alibato, Zoom edition. This time I am Zoom interviewing the one and only, my dressing room mate, my Karen Smith, my forever friend, Kate Rockwell. We're talking about her last performance in Mean Girls, what she's been up to during this quarantine time, and of course her sweet little dogs, Mabel and Bessie. I love you all very much, and I hope you enjoy this interview with Kate Rockwell.
Hi, Kate. Welcome to my show.
I'm on YouTube. Should I ironed my dress before I got on YouTube. Whoops.
Hey, you look cute.
Fine. It's
Loving the pink hair. It's still very pink.
Thank you. Yes, doing very well. So I said a light, like it's coming into like a light rose now. It's leading into that, which is really nice with my auburn dress. But
what's the next color on the docket? Are we thinking blue, purple?
I think that the next one might be, I think it might be purple. I'm leaning more towards purple than blue. I think because it'll be a good transition. And then when I do the blue after that, like, you know, because there's still going to be colors. So if I do this in purple, that makes sense. Then purple to blue makes sense. So that's what I'm going to try next. The real fun is like when I move my hair, you can, there's like so much down here that is like my real color.
Oh yeah.
So you're starting to really see my natural color in the back, which is great.
I think it kind of looks super, like, it makes it almost more punkier, that it's like dark and pink.
One of my students told me that it's like a cool trend that you just highlight or just like do a crazy color like right in the front and that's it. And you know, of course, I'm really just trying to stay on trend with it. So I think I'm just keeping up.
I love it. Well, Kate, welcome. First question I'm going to ask you is what I asked Erica, because it's what I want to know and what the people want to know, which is, I don't know, just to talk a little bit about your last show, because it happened and then all of this happened and we didn't even I didn't even get the chance to seriously comprehend what happened, that you left and you had your final show and then all of this happened. So now what are we, 7 weeks? It's been 7 weeks, 8 weeks?
This is, I think this is this is like week 8.
Oh my God. I mean, tell me, what do you think about the fact that you're done? And also, how was the night?
Yeah, it was an insane day. It's funny because it really doesn't feel like it happened because everything blew up so quickly afterwards. And so I feel like what's going to happen is everybody's going to go back to work and I'm going to be like, oh my God, it's so cool. And then I'm going to remember that I don't go back to work anymore. It was such an amazing day. We had 2 shows on that Sunday. And so the weirdest part was going in and being like, let's do a matinee first. And let's pretend this is normal. So that was the weirdest part, was all morning I was super worked up and I was really nostalgic, which I'm not very often. I'm not a nostalgic person, but I really was thinking about all of the things that we had done and insane experiences that I had at the show. And I got really emotional thinking about it. I cried with my husband in the morning before I went to work. And it was just happy tears, sort of overwhelmed tears, maybe more than anything,
right?
About everything that had happened. And then I went in and it was well, I had the most lovely, everything was decorated and all there were flowers and cards and it's so special. And then it's time to just do a show. Oh, yeah,
Isn't that weird? That's the weirdest part about big events. You're still I still have to do the show, and the show for the people out there that have no idea that we're on this emotional freaking high.
They shouldn't know. That would be me doing my job, means they don't know that this is happening. So yeah, I just did the matinee, and then I had my own sort of gifts and cards that I wanted to get out to everybody. And so I sort of just lay low before the second one. And then and I remember this happening with Erica's last show. I remember this happening with Ashley's last show. It was just all of a sudden what happens is the building just goes flick a light switch on and it starts to go. And you're okay, we're doing this. We gotta go. And so we have
chills. That's exactly how it feels. It literally is. The whole building flips and it goes,
even though
this is real.
Yeah, and it weirdly was that. I remember Devin coming in and sobbing, and I was like, "You are not allowed to do this right now. You get out of my room. I can't talk to you about this. We have to do a show." So but of course then Gray and Barrett are going through the same things because that was their last show also. One of the traditions in Mean Girls of when people are leaving is that you go down and you watch the opening number. We aren't in the opening number, so we wanted to be there to be part of it. And so that happened, and I was like, this is also for me. It's just so out of body. Once we got on stage, once we got into the plastics and like did that, which was like insanity.
Totally.
And then for a little while, it was kind of just a normal show. I mean, Sexy was great. I got standing ovation with Sexy, which was insane.
Oh my gosh, I truly chills. Like, I remember that moment. I was like, yes.
I was just laughing, like in my pose, just like, we're doing this for so long. We had a great performance, a great audience. And then
Audience.
the end starts. And the end starts for me, I have to make it through Rule of Twos, because Rule of Twos is the hardest thing I did in the whole show. And so I would catch myself like starting to get emotional. It's like, no, you don't get to do any of this until Rule of Twos is done. It's like Rule of Twos finished. And so like I would turn, it would be like Caucasian thumbs up, and I would turn and I just started bawling. And then came Spring Fling. And honestly, I didn't do Spring Fling. I was like on stage, but like I stopped doing the choreography. I stopped doing the blocking. Barrett and I were just hugging. Like I just was crying in everybody's hair. I like wasn't full face sobbing. Like literally like a whole section of the number went by and I was like, where am I?
I sort of feel the same thing. I think that's one of my favorite parts about our show is that Spring Fling almost is there to like carry us in.
Yes.
Every time that we have something emotional or like a big deal. And I mean, that's always been one of my favorite parts of the show, just what that number does, which is brings us all together. And it's so real for us. Like we talk about all the time about how close we all are. That was the moment I let myself go to, because I was the same as you that day. I was like, no blinders. Also, I was like, I want to take care of Kate and I'm going to be there for her and she gets to cry, not me. So like, I'm just going to hold it together. Even we didn't really talk too much about it in the dressing room because it was like, until the end.
And you still have a job to do, right? Like there were still people there that are like not there to see my last show. They're there to like just see Mean Girls, and you still owe them Mean Girls. So like you gotta do Mean Girls, even though like for you, you're like all the alarms are going off the back of your head. Like, remember this, it's the last time you're gonna do it. But then like also just do a good job. Don't
exactly
get in the way of people enjoying their show.
Oh my God. And then we had that big party,
big party. Everybody came back. It was so fun. There were tons of people backstage at the end of the show, and everybody went, we went across the street, and it was a great way to go out. And that was the last party we went to.
Right. And that was an epic one too, which
it was so fun. The whole creative team was there. Everybody was celebrating with us, which was so lovely. And all of the new kids that are coming into the show. So we all got to sort of like celebrate, and a lot of the old kids who had already left came back. And so we all got to have like this giant, like multi-generational Mean Girls party, which was so fun.
You were part of creating this like huge family that goes not only on Broadway, on the road, past, present, future, all these different people that come through. That is the power of creating a show that lasts like this, right? I mean, how does that feel for you? Because like it's your baby that like a lot of us as actors get to kind of be in on and have a piece of.
Yeah, and like continue on. And it is a little bit like I don't have children, so I don't understand what it is to have a child at all. But I have to like, there's like this small piece of it that does sort of feel like this is what we created together. Like we created something that lives on after us, and Mean Girls will live on after us no matter what happens with everything. Like it will always be a part of theatrical history, and the work that we did, all of us together, like will always go on. And that is such an ephemeral business. It's like so special to know that like something you created will live forever.
Yeah.
In the Rolodex of Broadway history. I feel so much pride with Mean Girls, and I feel pride about the work that I did, but I feel pride about the building. The whole building feels like I am just so proud to have been a part of it, and I'm so proud to have been there as long as I was, to get to see all of the people that came in and then went out. And I'm sure I will someday have an opportunity to do something like that again. I hope that it is a positive experience. I just can't, it's hard to imagine anything being as crazy and wonderful as Mean Girls was for those 2.5, 3 years of my life. Like it was just the most rewarding and also like all-encompassing job, lifestyle, everything that I've ever had. And I loved it. I loved almost every second of it. I think the only thing I didn't love was the shoes.
My feet have such a nice break right now.
They're so happy. I haven't worn a heel in 8 weeks.
So we do have this like intense bond in the show. It really doesn't happen every show. I'm not saying every show is like a hot mess, but the type of bonding that I feel with so many people as a replacement, even with original company members, new company members, like where did that come from and why? How?
I really do. I think it's one of those things. It's just alchemy, like it's magic. I sensed it very, very early on in the original company. It was like, oh, this is a group of people that is here to make sure everybody feels taken care of, right? Like everybody feels included, important, special, and like part of the game. And I don't know if that comes from having a creative team that was super supportive and also like super all inclusive, and also like Casey and Jeff and Tina and Nell are all very playful people. They're all like nobody's like dark and brooding. And we didn't have that. We had like yes and play, fun, chat, throwing candy. I'm going to take this on stage. Okay, do it because that'll be fun if you take this. And like there was such a yes and energy in the rehearsal process. And I think that is I guess I would say, I think if there's anything that you can control, that is the way that you get that energy where everybody feels safe to try things. And that means that everybody feels safe, right? Like feel supported and encouraged. And I think comedy does that too. I think not always, but I think like doing comedy, good comedy is teamwork. Everyone has to work together to make comedy work, which I think created that bond that really stuck. And then when we started changing cast members over, I know very much for me, and I know that other people as well, it was very, very important to make sure that people who were coming into this environment didn't feel like outsiders, because I've replaced, and I know what that feels like to be outside. Not only would that not work for our show, but that would not work for our building, and it wouldn't work for long-term for the health of this show. Those people are our family too now. So like there was an active intention.
It is very special. Okay, so let's talk about quarantine for a minute. So you and Spencer cooking, baking a lot.
So much food.
Oh my gosh, what's been like your favorite thing you made? I loved, and I wanted to eat the most, probably those pizza cupcakes that you made a couple of
Yeah,
you looked so good.
Those were so good and so dumb. I was like, this is the easiest thing I've made this whole quarantine, but they were so yummy. I think we did scallops and risotto, like a vegetable risotto one night. That was like a real winner. We have baked all kinds of things. We made homemade cinnamon rolls from scratch. Those were incredible.
Those looked amazing. Okay, and then last question. A lot of people wanted to know about Mabel and your puppies. Look at Mabel and Bess. Hi, Mabel.
What are you doing? Why are you sitting like that? What's your foot doing?
Mabel and Bess. They said, are the girls enjoying all the quality time of having mommy home 24/7?
They are, but look at her. She's so tired. She's like, you guys need to leave me alone. Because they're used to sleeping all day while we're gone, and they don't get to do that. Like, this is her only nap today because she's been chasing us from room to room to room all day long, and so she can
Look at her.
Cameo of Mabel in the back.
Oh, it's so perfect. Honestly, Mabel, perfect timing. Well, that's all for our interview on Zoom. Thank you so much for being on my channel. I love you. I miss you constantly.
I know, I miss you too.
And
someday soon.
Yeah, someday soon. We will. But I love you, and I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
Oh, it made me miss Kate so much. She's just the greatest. I had the greatest time. My whole year was with her. So I'm just so happy that we got to chat. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and comment on who you'd like me to interview next. I have a lot of ideas. We'll see what happens. Anyway, please subscribe to this channel and check out all my other videos if you haven't yet. Thanks so much for your support.